Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank the witnesses for being here today. Thank you so much for your time. This is why we're here. Mr. Menarvik, behind me, is this a picture of the rice whale or the Loch Ness Monster?
It appears to be the Loch Ness Monster.
One would say, sir. Well, according to the 2020 biological opinion, the rice whale might have been seen in the Gulf, or maybe it was swimming next to Nessie. I guess we'll never know. I don't think we need a marine biologist to tell us this. Yesterday, we were talking about UFOs. So if the rice whale might have been seen, maybe we saw some other things as well. I say this because the sighting of the rice whale is not the reason that we should drive up energy prices and costs of American families. Mr. Menarvik, should we stop drilling in the Gulf of Mexico because of the possible sighting of the rice whale or any other unknown species in the Gulf of Mexico, including but not limited to Nessie, of course?
We've got a long track record of understanding the endangered species in the Gulf of Mexico and tracking them, and I know this rice whale thing seems to be a significant departure from the way that we've handled things in the past. But, we need to keep drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, and all these things are attacks on our industry to slow that effort. And all the things we've been talking about today, rice as well, the lease sale, the permit issue, the new proposed rule that we're dealing with out of BOEM, all those things are intended to slow down development of this basin that delivers the best source of American energy, the best source of environmentally advantaged oil that Americans can access. And it keeps prices low, and it keeps middle-class families and lower-class families, in good economic situation. I don't understand it. I really don't understand how the attack on supply somehow reduces demand. It doesn't reduce demand unless we see higher prices. Maybe that's the end game.
It is the end game, and that's why we're here to fix that, sir. Mr. Daniels, this question is for you, sir. You mentioned in your oral statement, could you let the committee know once more, where do we produce the cleanest oil and gas barrels in the entire world?
In the Gulf of Mexico, 46% cleaner than the average barrels produced anywhere else in the world outside of North America.
And why is that?
Mr. Menarvik did a good job earlier talking about that, and I'll just add on, it's really about the kind of regulatory oversight and commitment that we have both from regulators in terms of, it's really world-class oversight for the operations that we do. And it's a commitment from the operators, a commitment from service companies like Danos and others that are out there, because again, we care about the environment. We care about, most of us that work in this industry, many of us live in coastal communities, fish off of oil and gas platforms. And that's a secret that, as we were talking about this a second ago, if you want to catch fish, you go out to the platforms. You go to old platform sites. That's where all the fish are caught because it creates an environment. So we care about it. We're passionate about it. We are regulated to make sure that we do a good job and we work together and we get that done.
Thank you. I've been on one of Mr. Menarvik's rigs, actually, in the Gulf. It's an incredible operation. It's technologically advanced. You're correct. It's clean. Safety is paramount. I mean, if they're going to allow a congressman on there, it better be safe, I would assume. But what I really want to talk about is how important what you do is to not just the energy here in this country, but to the entire world. I don't think you hear this enough, but I just want to tell you, gentlemen, thank you so much for what you do for us every single day. Because right now I'm sitting here in a nice air conditioning room wearing this suit, and I feel quite comfortable because of the very energy that you provide for us. And Mr. Danos, you were talking about how safely that we do it here, how clean we do it here, and why that's the case. I can assure you that Venezuela and Saudi Arabia and Iran and other countries don't care about safety nearly as much as we do. We live in a world where we need more electrons. And I want to do away and dispel this myth of a transition. There is no such thing as a transition. There's only energy addition, and it's going to be a mix. It's going to be redundancies. It's going to be provided by the people in this room right now. If we don't continue to hammer this point home, we are literally going to destroy our economy at no gain to the globe. We are living in times of record inflation, record debt, record energy prices, and quite frankly, middle America and the flyover states can't afford it. And the only way that we are going to be able to afford it is to unleash American energy and unleash companies like yours, Mr. Minorvik, to continue to fuel our world. We have got to stay on this together. This is not a partisan issue. This is about not just fueling our country, but making sure that we become a net exporter and getting back to what it means to have the greatest country in the entire world. And you gentlemen provide that for us. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. God bless you.
Gentleman yields. I'd like to recognize Mr. Carl for another 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I do not have